Hey guys, welcome back. Just finishing up my pre-trip. The last thing I have to do is check the lights. So you're gonna walk with me. Go around the unit and we'll see what we can't figure out. And all of the lights are working. Outstanding. So I uploaded that video yesterday with the where I did the court thing, the cell towers, and did the off-road adventure with that other YouTube channel. Anyway, now we're back to work. My 34 became like a 60, but I can't pick my next unit up until Friday. Today's Thursday, and it's right by where I dropped this one. A little ways away, not bad, like an hour or something like that. Anyway, let's roll that intro. I'm gonna get in the truck. We're going to Washington, and I'll see you later. Good morning. So we got this unit. Well, it didn't quite go as planned. You see, what happened was I overslept, and that's on me. I was up editing the video for Reset Channel and the one for this channel, and then I was just kind of hanging out, and I wound up staying up a little bit later than I wanted to stay up. And I hit the road, and I got hooked up to this thing, and cruising along. GPS says I got it was bounced between 11 and 12 minute window to make delivery. I'm like, perfect. Now I'm still gonna make it. And then there's a 28-minute slowdown in 1 mile due to accidents on I-5 South. Or north, south. I went, oh, that's great. So that's my delivery. I pulled in 10 minutes after the acceptance time, which sucks because I could have made it all the way to my next pick last night and slept right outside there, which would have been convenient. Because the plan is, we'll discuss that later. Let's see if we can actually make the plan work before we start talking about it. Right? Right. Okay, I'm gonna get this delivered. I'm gonna make my way to the next one, and I'll see you in a bit. All right, so here we are. Another one of those times an ELD makes sense. It's got its downsides, and I get it. But load boards are thin right now, and I was able to nab this one that pays pretty good, and it weighs nothing, so I'm gonna get great mileage. So while it's not the best rate per mile, I think it was like $1.40 something. I think I'd have to look at my paperwork again. Anyway, it comes out to a total of I think $1,400 to go from here in Seattle to Billings, Montana. Now, they want it delivered, if I was reading the paperwork right, they want it delivered on Tuesday, no later than Wednesday. I don't know why they said a Tuesday, but whatever. So, I could go to Billings, and I would get there tomorrow, Saturday, and then I could reset and spend an extra, so it'd be like a 50 something hour reset, sitting in my truck in a truck stop in Montana. Or I can go home, which does add like 3 hours to my trip, and it adds I forget, about 100 miles, 150 miles, something like that. But I'm going to have to stop for fuel. Now, I can get fuel in Oregon, which is much cheaper than Washington or Idaho or Montana. So while it is adding an extra 150 miles, I'm going to make that up in my fuel savings once I pump 90 gallons. So pump 90 gallons and save myself 60, 70 bucks. That pretty well covers all my excess miles. It's a 100-mile wear and tear on the truck. Whatever. I mean, by the end of the day, I'll be at 298,000 on a 2-year-old truck. I don't care about 100 miles. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it home, and I'm going to sit there for the weekend, and we'll see what kind of shenanigans we get into. I'm going to get back on the road, and I'll see you guys probably at the house. Take care. I'll see you soon. Hey guys, so you saw earlier I had that boat. I can't deliver that boat until Tuesday, which means I can't leave my house till Monday, which means I had 2 days to kill because today's Saturday night. So me, one of our prospects, and if you watch the Reset channel, you've seen Mongo on that black road glide there. We came up here to Washington. Came to hang out with our Parabellum chapter, which you also saw on the Reset channel if you watched that. The chapter that we stood up in Oregon. I did that big long ride. Anyway, that's not the whole purpose of what I'm talking about right now. So if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen this. And maybe, a little bit in the background here and there on some videos. I got rid of my Street Glide. I got this. It has the 114. I got the exhaust and the seat in with the deal when I bought it. This is my halfway saddlebag. Please don't judge me for that. Really, please, sincerely. I had in my head a vision of what I thought this bike should be when Harley released it a couple years ago. And my brother, who you've seen on the Reset channel, Loki, the owner of Low Key Motorsports, which I have tagged on Instagram if you follow me there. Believe it or not, these are the exact same bike. Yours is a 20? That's a 20. That's a 21. They're the exact same bike. He had a good friend of his paint it.
Carlito's Customs out of Kennewick.
Carlito's Customs out of Kennewick, Washington. Painted this bike.
Started off with the JD Customs FXRT fairing, just a repop fairing. Mounted a Kenwood 400 watt Bluetooth amp in here. Then running Rockford Fosgate Power Series 5 1/4 inch speakers. Controller for the amp is down here, just connects right to the phone. Right here got the DynoJet Power Vision. Went with 8.5 inch risers, factory bars. And then from there did a Canon intake. Two Brothers Racing 2-in-1 stainless. And then the bags are off of a 19 Street Glide. And stunt chopped them, did all the work to chop them. Thought it looked better with the body lines of the low rider rest, so we chopped them and then made up some hardware so it can take a quick detach sissy bar and mount touring bags onto a Softail, which
So, a couple things I want to touch on this build. The bags for this bike, you can't get that bracketry anywhere. I've looked. You've looked as well. That's why you ended up making your own.
Yep.
So he's actually going to end up making me a set. Not for free. I'm going to pay for him, but he is making me a set. And that's because this was the same bag that I had in my mind that needed to be on this bike. It should have been there from the factory. It isn't. Also, you built the crash bar, didn't you?
Yeah. I built the crash bar, built it a little too wide, so it's got duct tape ends right now, but that's going to be fixed this winter. But yeah, that's all.
You're getting a little rowdy and realized you had too much stick sticking out.
Yeah.
Okay, so that got chopped down. It's going to get cleaned up and make pretty. But realistically, very similar to the build I had in my mind. Really, a different fender and some minor differences in the foot area. Other than that, this is really similar to what I had in my mind for a build. Anyway, so you guys have seen, you've actually seen this bike before. In the, God, what did I call that video on Reset Channel? The one where the thumbnail is this patch getting sewn on to a cut.
Oh, yeah.
On the Reset Channel. This bike looked just like this, but it had this fairing on it, but it was all black still. Same bike. So
And different bags. Had some Viking bags.
Oh yeah, you had the Viking bags at that point. Okay, so where can people find Low Key Motorsports?
Instagram and Facebook. Just type in LOWKEY Motorsports on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, and you guys have seen me tag them in Instagram a few times. None of you follow me on Facebook because I don't allow that. So anyway, I'm gonna go back to hanging out with my brothers, enjoying this time out here. I just wanted to give a little bit of a shout out because of all the work that he did on the Street Glide and all the work that we're getting ready to do on that bike in the not too distant future. So huge shout out to Low Key Motorsports. Check him out on Instagram, check him out on Facebook. If you're in the Washington, Oregon, Northern Idaho, where if you're willing to make the trip to Washington, I am Southeast Washington. You're Tri-Cities area, basically?
Tri-Cities, yep.
Okay. So basically Tri-Cities area. If you're willing to make that trip, I'm sure you can get in contact with him and he will be more than happy to set up a time for you to come over and get some work done, or at a minimum, talk about what you have in mind for your build and see if it can be done. I'm going to go back out to hanging out with the brothers, partying. I'll see you all maybe tomorrow. If not, definitely Monday when we take off to Montana to deliver that boat. I'll see you then.
We'll start off with suspension. It's got inverted Öhlins front end, Brembo. Radial mounted brakes done by Big Bear. It's got Öhlins rear shocks by Big Bear. It's got a bottom end built by Zippers. We split cases, sent it off to Zippers. They stroked it out to a 124. I put the rest of the motor together. Got some pretty big old cams in there. Had to hog out the cylinder heads to fit valve springs, and then running a Zippers oil pump cam plate, Zippers redshift cam. This is actually I didn't build it, but it's a one-off HPI exhaust built specifically for Big Bear's mid controls. Maverick made contact with HPI, shipped off mid controls. They HPI jigged it up on another old style touring bike with those exact mid controls to make sure this pipe would run with mid controls. And this is a one of one exhaust mount made by HPI for that's all. So the T-bars, moto bar setup, shorty levers, all that was done by Big Bear in California, who did the inverted front end, and he's got billet top and lower triple trees. I did all the motor work. Basically got shipped lower case halves assembled with a crankshaft in it, and I did the rest.
Okay, let's move on to your president's bike.
Yep.
Let's talk about starting at the back, moving forward, and we'll go over what was parts hung and what was whatever low-key said, hey, it needed to be this because of this, or low-key built individually.
Yep. So starting at the back, we got
waiting for the lighting, hang on.
Starting at the back, we got Öhlins 0357 remote reservoir with Big Bear's remote reservoir mounts. You can't see it from here, but we got a trash chain drive kit.
We'll get that on the other side when we walk around.
Then moving up forward, we got a Fab 28 pipe built by Fab 28 Baker Grudge box that I installed. SNS 124 kit. This bike started life as a 107, so it ended up being a 124. SNS oil pump cam plate, SNS 475 gear drive cam, We got S&S tappet cuffs, S&S lifters, S&S push rods, S&S studs for the rocker arm shafts. We got a K&N intake on it. Something I did do, instead of paying $400 for a vented dipstick, was vented and sealed up the factory dipstick and vented it. It's hidden behind this, the actual filter element is hidden behind this side cover, so it's nice, clean, tucked out of the way. And then on the bar setup, that's all Kraus Moto billet, top triple tree, Kraus risers, Forbidden Moto bars, Vans Colt grips, Kraus Moto gauge relocation. I did all that. And then we got a Olin's 2-inch over factory with titanium nitrided fork tubes. Had the lowers powder coated black.
Now, and that's very, very obvious because the rear is lifted how much?
About 1.5 to 1.75 inches over factory.
And then you're 2-inch on the front?
Yep.
And you can see a huge difference. The front is way taller on this bike. So we'll walk around now and we'll get a look at the chain drive conversion. Well, we can only see so much of it, but you can see it as a chain drive conversion on top of the Grudge Box. Which transmission? Because they offer a few.
That's a Baker Grudge Box N1, so neutrals all the way down at the bottom. We got a comp eliminator in there, Barnett Scorpion clutch, and a Baker attitude adjuster, manual chain adjuster, primary chain adjuster in there.
So you guys have, if you watch Reset Channel, you've seen low-key, and I went into depth on the cam install, and you've seen, well, these two bikes are a lot of off-the-shelf parts. They were still installed by low-key, and some of them had a little professional twist, independent twist, not quite exactly as factory. Now you pair that with all of the one-off on this bike, and what you can see is, if you want a part hung, great, low-key's got you. If you want some custom stuff, he'll figure out a way to make it work. Perfect example. Him and I have both spent hours looking and cannot find anyone who will hang these bags on the Lowrider S. And he made it work.
Mention Fairwinds and followingseas, Reset Channel or Machine for 10% off labor.
Good morning on this Monday. So, originally my plan was to take off this morning and get up into Montana and get that boat delivered. I'm not sure that's going to happen. Many of you, if you've been around for a long time, know that I have some pretty decent back issues. And this weekend was the first time I've taken that new bike on a trip. You know that I had that white Street Glide, and I put a lot of money into the ergonomics of it to make it where I could comfortably ride it. I rode it here from just outside Boise all the way to Nashville, Tennessee in a day and a half, and I was fine. This bike is not ergonomically set up, and I am paying for it this morning. I could still make my deadline, take today, just kind of rest, relax, let the back heal up, and then tomorrow morning get up early, and I can still make delivery. I'll still be on the timeline that I gave my dispatcher, that I would have this delivered by Tuesday, so that's not a concern. But just out of my personal safety and well-being, and B, in the event there were to be any kind of issue, like get a flat on the trailer. Trying to change that tire right now would be it would be really difficult. So most likely I'm gonna sit here today, take it easy, hang out on the couch, just relax, let everything kind of loosen back up. It's not like hurt, but it's tight. Everything's tight. So I think I'm gonna spend today, let it relax. And I also realized that I'm like 20 minutes on this video already. So as much as I would love to get out here and knock the grass down, because I was gone for a month, 34 days on the road, and everything kind of got crazy. I think I'm just gonna take it easy today, recover. So I guess what I'm getting at is, I know a lot of you are doing this or looking at getting into doing this, and you know, I have a setup where I can bring loads in, like you guys have seen countless times. I'm sure a lot of you have something similar. Be careful what you do on your time off. Hurting yourself could put you into this position where now I'm still gonna make my timeline, but I'm gonna have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and hit the road. So it is what it is. Anyway, little PSA, be careful what you do on your time off. As always, those of you on the roads, I wish you fair winds and following seas. Take care and have a great day.